Hello! Today I'm going to show you a drawing that's combining some willow charcoal, got some thick sticks and some thin sticks, and some pastel or some compressed charcoal. And I think this is quite a good combination for drawing something a bit sort of gritty, industrial. I've got a spanner here, and I'm going to start with a thick stick of charcoal. Oh, wait a minute, there's something underneath. That's what happened to my other stick of charcoal, which I couldn't find. Ooh, there you are. Okay, start again. So with the side of the thick stick of charcoal, I'm just going to get this overall shape of the spanner. How big should we make it? Should we make it a bit bigger? So you see that I can change all of that. There's no big deal about changing. I don't usually swap hands, it's just I'm trying to work with the tripod that is holding my phone, which is filming this. So normally just work with my right hand, but you can always pass it over to the left to do that in. So I'm doing it using the side of the thick stick of charcoal just to get the main shape. You could say this is drawing without lines. And now let's smudge it a bit. So it's a kind of silhouette of the two hands, draw with two hands of the tool. There it is. And now maybe that thin stick, which I lost, could come in next. I could do some lines. This way of drawing is going to be gradually built up, so I'm not being precious about anything. I'm just trying to get something of this really quite attractive shape of the tool, and it's got various details of a hole at the top, some ridges, nice complicated bit here with the wheel. All of that I'm just trying to place at the moment, and that's with the thin stick of the willow charcoal, and then back to the thick stick. Maybe I'll just build up some of the very black bits. The side is very black. So that's the willow charcoal. I can smudge that a bit. I could even draw a bit with, I've got some bits of plastic eraser, so I can subtract a bit, just to show you what's possible. But what I think is more interesting to add to that is I've got a stick of black pastel, which behaves much like compressed charcoal. So willow charcoal is the burnt wood, a piece of charcoal. Compressed charcoal has been manufactured, so it's got some oil mixed in with the charcoal and then compressed together into a stick. And a chalk pastel is fairly similar. I don't know exactly what the ingredients are, but you'll see that the chalk pastel is much blacker than the charcoal. So I'm looking with my eyes half closed to see where there are the dark places in this spanner. And I'm putting down some of the compressed charcoal. Oh, in fact, this is black pastel rather. Just putting some of the black pastel. You can see that that's much darker. Then what I'm going to do is take my thumb and just smudge it all a bit. And that's something I think worth drawing into now. I'll go back to the charcoal and maybe find some of the dark bits. See where that the dark parts of the spanner are. And then I'll draw with the eraser. So eyes half closed, I could just get the negative shape around the outside. That's quite nice to do that. So what I started with, really trying to find a kind of silhouette of the outline. I'm doing it at the top because at the bottom there's a shadow, so I think the way I smudged it is quite good for creating that shadow. So working a bit on the edge, then we've got the very shiny, polished part of the teeth of this tool. Somewhere down here. And then I've cut my This is a piece of plastic rubber. I've cut the edges. I've cut it into smaller bits so that it's got a sharp edge, so I can actually lift off some of those finer edges. Places where the light is catching the sort of ridges. That tool. Blow some of that away. Whoops, there goes my willow charcoal. Let's smudge it again a bit. I mean, what I'm trying to do here in a way is find the image, lose it, mix up some of that chalk pastel with the willow, so that I get some, I suppose it's some sort of in-between, colours. Well, they're not in-between tones. Smudge that a bit. It's great if you can find a process where you can add to the drawing and then subtract, and now and then stop just to see what you've got, and so that you don't go past something that is working well and is really worth keeping. So first I'm doing the shiny bit of the teeth, and then I'll go back to finding that outline, and then just bearing in mind the time, I should probably aim to bring this drawing to a bit of a conclusion. So that's giving me the top edge, and that's nice because when I work back into the white of the paper, you can start to see the different greys, blacks and greys that have been created just by this technique of smudging and mixing the two sorts of charcoal. Sharp bit of rubber would be good, just to get in the edge of the tool here. Looking with your eyes half closed, it's well worth doing, because then you just simplify what you're seeing into light and dark, and it often helps you discover what things are important. That's the ridges of the teeth. Let's smudge some of that still. Let's go in here, and this end of the handle actually we can see right through to the paper underneath. We're good to get that. So that I'll almost stop it there. I think the top works a bit better, maybe because of some of those greys and some of the edges. It might be better if I could get a bit more grey, maybe smudge a bit more down here, and then use the rubber again. And last of all, I've got some white chalk, and maybe there are one or two places where I want to just put some white marks on with the chalk. And by the same token, with my thin bit of charcoal, which fell off the table, I might put in just one or two smaller bits of definition. But if I'm trying to produce a drawing that's got a fairly kind of gritty quality to it, I don't want to neaten everything up too much. I've got to find a balance between the atmosphere, the quality of that loose work, and then defining things a little bit because I think they're interesting or because they matter, they're important, but not defining everything. So there we go. That's a different technique, working with the pastel and some willow charcoal, and trying to encourage you to make a drawing that doesn't go in a linear way. It doesn't go from start to finish, but actually you go back and forth over different stages where you add and subtract, you mix material on the surface of the drawing, and you just make sure that you stop now and then to see what's working so that you don't lose it, so you don't go past it. Okay, I hope that goes well.